No? Probably all of these concepts can be also understood inside of the concept of collective intelligence. No, like it's a very interesting creativity expression. The popular architecture, there's a lot of inventiveness. You can probably realize that in many cases of popular architecture, you can find a similar way of doing, like an art. No, like there's something in the way of doing of these different cases that's common behind them. No, usually. Also, there's a resource optimization in the popular architecture. For example, optimization of materials. In other cases, optimization of energy, etc. And many of these popular architectures are also instantly. They are fast. They are made in an emergency. There's also something interesting that kind of ordinary. The popular architecture, it often happens to me that when I see popular architecture, it's like a deja vu. No, like you see something, you feel that you have seen it before, but it's not happening that thing. No, so there's a common also like aesthetic behind of the popular architecture. Popular architecture, I think that I'm not sure about this concept that can be happen everywhere to everyone. I mean, usually popular architecture is related to middle class or low class, even though I don't like to use that concept of low or high or medium class. I don't think it's correct, but it's the best way of explaining myself right now. I'm not sure that in high class you can find popular architecture. Maybe that's something that is like an homework I'm going to take after this lecture to refuse or not this concept of popular architecture. And finally, usually you see just the form of a need, and there's no symbolism, no ornamentation in this popular architecture. So I'm showing you some cases of creativity, expression, and inventiveness. No, probably this is one of the most interesting projects or image that I'm going to show. You know, there's a train in the left, like a barbecue in the right, but like in a second floor, 2 seats behind. I hope that everybody that's looking to this image can be feeling a strong love with this kind of expression. No? I think it's fantastic. We will never reach this kind of designs studying in the faculty, no, or at least till now, no. Probably with this program that you're developing, this kind of project will be starting to develop more and more, no. Art of way of doing, no. You take whatever you have, and in hand, usually you have a new painting in the project. Lightweight elements, etc. No? Resource optimization, in this case, is optimization of the material. You can see that the house has a wide of 6 panels and a long of like around 9 panels. No, so the design of this building is respecting the measurement of the materials. No, that's the embryonic process of creativity in the case of this project, now respecting material measurements. No? Is instantly fast emergency. Probably somebody here needed a shadow because this is, you can see it cloudy here, but it's very hot. This is almost in the desert of Atacama, no? So you do it something fast and it works and it makes space and etc. No, wonderful. The ordinary, the deja vu. Sometimes now you go and pass through this house, you see like a balcony, and then afterwards you realize that the structure of this balcony is really like the handrails of the buses. No, I am not sure what is the plate or the surface that is hiding the house behind, but you can understand what's working for. No, so many times the form of popular architecture is quite similar to the formal architecture, but when you see it again in a second view, you realize that it's just not the same. No. Everyone and everywhere. I took just here that one image of the program of the case study houses that I love a lot, that has been developed in the States from 1950 on. No, probably many of that houses are very expensive and not popular, but I think that many of that projects have a lot of design operations that with a little of creativity, you can change a lot the quality of the space or whatever you are building. And no symbolism. Well, you can see here this bridge that is in the coast of Chile is just the expression of the structure needed that could be done with this wood, no? And you maybe can be strongly impressed about these diagonal elements that looks very beautiful for me, and that elements are needed because if not, the bridge is turning down. No, I have run through this bridge many times. Sometimes you feel very scared about what's happening, but it's still standing up since, I don't know, like 20 years ago. Okay, so other clues that I wanted to share about popular architecture, and I'm going to go faster because I'm not going to get the time. Just going to go immediately to the examples. No, popular architecture usually is minimalist. No, it's being done with few elements. In this case, you can see what's happening in the entrance of this house, just with a different use of the roof. No, there is a steel plate undulated. So there's a moment when you put it higher, and then you make the axis of entrance. You can understand where's the entrance. It can fit to the altitude of the people, etc. Because what you're looking in front, when it has this wooden material, is like should be around like 2 meters high. No, so if you have the roof at 2 meters high in the entrance of your house, probably somebody or with some elements will broke. No, so you just make bigger the part that you need it bigger. It's just one movement, no, and just one element. Usually, it's part of the aesthetics that I understood by popular architecture. They use rough or used surfaces, no, something many times that are recycled. Sometimes that are just very simple materials, so they get on weathering. They start showing the effects of sun or water or rain, etc. This I love it a lot. Popular architecture is functional. No, there's nobody thinking in this roof about having any kind of roof, of a stylistic roof. No, I don't. It's not that I wanted to have a Chinese roof or an Arabian roof. I just need a roof. I just put this plate and fold it, and that is no. And that operation, when you see it from outside, I think is wonderful. No, I love these pictures. One of the ones that I love most. Self-build. Usually, popular architecture is in a small scale of the houses mainly. Another kind of programs, architectural programs, that are useful for the people that don't need a big building. No, This is in the south of Chile. You can see the structure of the walls that are going to be used in the extension of this house in the south of Chile. And well, this is a little detail that I wanted to show you, because I don't know if I have it afterwards in the presentation, but usually in the side where the rain and the sun meets, you use these zinc alum plates, steel plates, no? And in the side of the house that don't have this problem, you can use wood, and you have no problems, no? Many of the architecture, the popular architecture, are stages of a process, no? Are things that are not finished, mainly, no? You can see this house that is in the mountains in central Chile, for example. It has its structure, it has its cover, but it's not have these finishings, no? So probably you're going to get very cold at night or very hot in the middle of the day. And maybe also you can get some rain inside, but it can be useful in some other moments, no? And the last thing, I think, the last clue about what could be understood for me, like popular architecture, is that there are different scales also of architecture. No, the bigger scale is urbanism, the lower scales are object design. No, so popular architecture, I think, it can be also be understood in other scales, and maybe I don't know. You can talk about popular urbanism. It will be very interesting to think about that. And I'm very sure that in object design, you also have a popular design, no? I mean, designs from furniture or other elements also can have this characteristic of being a popular design, no? Or collective intelligences in your case. Okay, so I think the last aspect of defining popular architecture are related to the development or having or not beauty. That is something very important for me. I think that popular creativity in that case has popular architecture has as a characteristic the creativity is absolutely free. No, usually the architects are very constrained, have a lot of limitations to design because of what you have heard, because of what you have seen of what is good architecture, because of the possibilities you have. And in popular architecture, I think you have a full creativity. No, when you will design an element like this in your project, no, never. No, it's like something that is not dogmatic. I hope you understand. You have also beauty is being developed because improvisation, not taking care about what's happening before, what's the context, sorry, just what you need and what you can build, no, doing it fast and the other characteristic they have just define it, no? Popular architectures give us to the academy new canons, no? New canons for architecture, the canons that were very strong some ages ago, that we play with them, architects, now when you are studying in the architecture, you're learning canons of how it should be done architecture. And popular architecture, I think that brings you new canons, ways of doing architecture that you will never think that could be possible. I think that also the beauty of popular architecture is a fetish for me, at least, and I guess for many architects. No, you can see this. Oh wow! Like this is an incredible expression of architecture with an unknown architect. Whatever, all the characteristics that I have talked to you. But maybe you see this house and you think that it's very cool, but probably the owner of this house doesn't like his house because it has no windows, no? Like So there's a kind of fetishism in the way that architects look to the popular architecture. And also, this concept of professional point of view in Spanish is called de formación profesional. I mean, you see things as you are being taught to see the things, no? So probably nobody would see this case and understood that is and try to feel that it's architecture, but you as an architect go there and you see something very modern and that could be very cool, no? And to end this part, just wanted to talk about the limitations that we usually architects do to our students and to our own discipline, like making a restriction of what it's possible to do or not in designing architecture. No, that could be even a trap. Okay, so in 40 minutes, that's my part one. I'm going to start part two, and I'm going to do it in 18 minutes to finish in an hour. That is my compromise. No? The second part is called Towards a Popular Architecture. That should have been the name of my book, because what I wanted is that architecture should be popular for everybody, no? I am not designing popular architecture as the cases that I have shown before. Probably many of the projects I'm going to show you are second house in the beach, maybe some projects that are not related to the needs of the popular, no? But all of these works are trying to show how you can turn your architecture popular. Okay, so here's my book. It's a bilingual book. It's in Spanish and in English. This is the index. So in the index, in the beginning, in the left, I started the book with two texts that I have written. One is how to do architecture in our context in Chile, and the second is about the search of beauty. And then I divided 12 of my projects in three categories, three strategies of how you can make your architecture, or I try to make my architecture to be three strategies are low technology, material optimization, and structural reduction. And in these three strategies, I show 4 projects in each. No? Instead, this book summarizes my search for architecture talking really. I'm just going to show more or less fast lots of photographs of my projects for you to try to understand how these strategies are working or not in my designs. No, low technologies is the first one. Look at this crazy house done in the desert too. No, amazing material optimization. Using a plate of plywood, how you can make here a strange form or a different form that it will not be possible to do if you just use one plate of plywood. And a structural reduction, that means use as minimum elements, structural elements as possible, and try to express these elements also in the architecture. So I will start right now, just showing. I don't think I'm going to talk too much about these cases, but this is the first house I have done using zip panels. That maybe you know these kind of panels that are insulated, structural, and have some dimensions, 122 by 244 or 122 by